You are now listening to Playbook Radio. Here is your host, Martin Williams.
And welcome to Playbook Radio. My name is Martin Williams. Don't forget to subscribe to the podcast. We do so on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube. All the links to the podcast can be found at GamePlanPlaybook.com. That's GamePlanPlaybook.com. So today what I wanted to talk to you about is mental patterns. And if you understand the importance of mental patterns, and I'll try to be as brief as I can, but mental patterns are extremely important in controlling every aspect of your life. Every activity of your life, every part of your life is controlled by a mental pattern. How you spend your money, how you do your work, how you interact with your family, how you behave in relationships, behave in society, how you build a business. Everything is controlled by a mental pattern. And so if you don't do anything about the mental pattern, you're going to continue to do everything that you've been doing. You're going to continue to operate the way you've been operating. And if that's a good thing, then great. But if it isn't, then you're going to want to listen to what I have to say. So a mental pattern, like I said, is a way of thinking, a way of acting. If you are, someone who, let's say you go to the gym every morning, right? That comes from a mental pattern. There's a mental instruction. There's a mental, basically a pattern, like a way of thinking that says, okay, in the morning I go to the gym. If you work in a field, let's say that you're an accountant or an architect or a student, there's a pattern that is driving that. Okay. So that pattern, another word for a pattern is habit, right? That habit, that mental pattern, you're getting up every day, you're doing the same thing every day, right? And so if life is going great, then we really don't think about our mental patterns too much. But if there are things in your life that you want to improve, if there's things that you want to augment in some way, then you got to look at the mental pattern first, because that is what's driving your behavior. That's what's driving the things that you're doing. So if let's say you're behind in your bills, okay, you might want to blame external factors, and I'm certainly not saying that external factors don't play a role, but that mental pattern causes us to spend our money the way that we spend it. It causes us to save or not save. It causes us to not pay, our bills in full, instead of, paying them in full and not creating debt, right? Our mental patterns are creating the activities. So if there's certain things that you could be doing to make more money, but not doing it, that is being controlled by a mental pattern. If you are not performing or not seeing the results that you want to see, regardless of where you are in life, at the root of it is a broken mental pattern. I like to use sports analogies a lot. And so, if you have a player who's not performing at the level that he or she wants to perform, if they're not hitting the shots that they need to hit or making the plays that they need to make, more often than not, there's a mental pattern at the bottom of that, at the root of whatever that lack of performance is. There is a broken mental pattern. There's a pattern that is essentially saying, I don't hit that shot, or I don't make that shot, or I don't make that play, right? Let's say you're in sales. There's a mental pattern that's saying that I'm not getting sales. I'm not making sales. I'm not making enough sales, right? And so what that pattern is doing is recreating, creating, and recreating the end result. And that end result is an undesired result, right? Because what you want to do is that you want to make more sales, you want to make the play, you want to get the grades, you want to get the work done and get it done well, okay? But you're not going to get results consistently out of line of whatever your dominant mental pattern is. So how do we improve the mental pattern? The way you improve it is that you have to be clear about what it is that you want. So if you want to get out of debt, you got to write that down. If you want to buy a house, you got to write that down. You got to, if you want to, lose weight, you have to write that down. And what do we do? Or how do we do that? We do that in the form of goals. We write our goals out, and we write out exactly what it is that we want, and begin to construct the life that we want on paper, right? And when you do that on paper, eventually you start to see it in your life, because you're rewiring those mental patterns. You're rewiring those thought patterns that you've been having, and now you start to make changes. You start to basically think differently. That mental pattern begins to produce something different, right? Instead of saying, I never hit that shot, now you say, I hit that shot every time. Now, it doesn't mean that you don't practice, doesn't mean that you don't work on it, but you say that I make the sales that I need to make, right? Again, doesn't mean that you don't make the calls or reach out to the clients, but there's a different mental pattern that's going to produce a different result. But it's up to you to change it. No one's going to change it for you. So thank you so much for listening. My name is Martin Williams. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share, and I'll talk to you soon.
Thank you for listening to Playbook Radio. We hope you enjoyed this episode. Please like, comment, subscribe, and share this podcast with family and friends. And if you're ready to take the next step in your personal development journey, consider trying Mental Recoding by Playbook Strategies. These short audios are designed to help you reprogram your thoughts around different life subjects, such as finances, health, work, relationships, and much more. Click the link below to explore mental recoding products to help reshape your mind.